Hello everyone, it's Carla from Casey Creates. I'm back to try and decorate some of my Valentine cookies that I rolled out in the first video I made. I put them in this plastic shoebox and here they are. I already decorated and shipped off the vegan ones that I made for a friend. And she sent a picture of them and I'm so happy they got there without breaking. So I'll insert some pictures of those finished. But today I thought I would get a cup of coffee, and it's in a pretty cup my sister made for me. And I'm going to sit and attempt to decorate some of these. I want to do some with rolled fondant. So I'm going to put 3 of those out. Let's see, I also want to do some chocolate ones, and then I've got these really pretty embossed ones. But let's do the fondant ones first. Let's see, 1 second. So this one got a little dinged, I guess, as it was getting baked, but the fondant will cover that up. And all I did was I rolled the fondant really thin in between a gallon Ziploc bag. Oops. I didn't bring a pair of scissors over, did I? Oh, of course not. I think I can get it open though. Just gonna tear it open. That's good. And so you can see how I rolled the fondant really thin. It's like paper thin. That's because I think it's really sweet and I don't want to put a big thick slice of it. Uh-oh. I don't see the right cookie cutter. Bear with me. I'm going to go grab the right cutter. It's probably in the back in the drawer. Okay, so I'm just going to try and cut the fondant the same size as the cookie. Actually, I am supposed to brush a little bit of the thin icing on the cookie first so that the fondant will stick. So I'm gonna, I've got some royal icing that I've thinned down, and then I'm just going to put a thin coat on the cookie, and then my fondant cutout right on top. Let's see where my little smoother went. Here it is. 1 second. I got icing sugar on it a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to press it down a tad bit. Just make sure it's nice and stuck. So that is the icing. It's so easy when you can just use fondant. But everybody doesn't like fondant. So I'm not going to cover all of them with a sheet of fondant. But you can probably tell, let's lift it up, how thick this is. It's not very thick. And it's nice now. I used to make all my fondant, you know, homemade. But now you can get pretty decent tasting fondant right in the store. I just wanted to show you how thick this is. Compared to the blade of my spatula, it's not very thick. And even though it tastes really good, Most people just don't like a big mouthful of fondant. It takes away from the lovely taste of the butter cookie. Let's just smooth that on. Get that a little uneven. We'll do one more, and then we'll do some in the red. I didn't color much of it red. Oh, actually, no, let's do little pink hearts. This is supposed to be pink, but it's kind of like a faded red. But that's still appropriate for Valentine's Day. Okay, so I'm loving how this is cutting so easily. So again, this is just thinned out royal icing so that when I put my fondant heart on, it'll stick. Like so. We'll just take our spatula, give it a nice smooth, and then let's try some little pink hearts on top. And again, I just rolled it really thin in between the sandwich bag here. And this one I have one of those little plunger heart cutters. And I find that these work really well too. Can you see that? They just pop right out. Oops. I spoke too soon. Now you could probably just get some little heart-shaped sprinkles, but they're hard in texture, and I don't particularly like the contrast of crunching down on like those hard round little, what are they called, nonpareils, and then the soft icing. So I like to make a lot of the embellishments out of icing or fondant because the texture isn't hard and crunchy. Okay, so there's one more. Let's just go ahead and stick some of these on. So I'm going to put a little bit of the thin icing on top just so these will stick. Maybe I'll try to place them on with this. That'll work. It's just a little bamboo skewer. I might need a little more icing glue. I think they'll stick fine, but just in case. Aren't these cute? There. These are really cute, quick ways to embellish. I'm not really good at piping. I love watching people decorate cookies though. So let's see, maybe I should make them go straight. There we go. And then I think they'd be really cute with just some beading around the edge. We'll call that one done. Can you see it? It's a little off balance. I could probably put one more. So if I have an exact number, I can do them all the same. So I'll put one more right there. That works. There. There. Okay. So there's the one with the fondant little hearts. Let's do one more like that. So So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. Okay, and then we'll just follow our little pattern. One, 2, 3. I already didn't put it on the same pattern, but that's okay. 4, 5. We'll just make sure we put 8. 6, 7, 1 more. 8. And there's 8 on that one. But on this one, I think I want to do it a slightly different design. I have this Kimper tool. I think I just want to put one right in the middle. And then I'll put some piping around the one in the middle and some piping around the edge, and that'll be it for this one. See? Okay. So I've got those 3. So can you see I'm not a very good piper. These are supposed to be little beaded dots for the trim, but they're kind of pointy. I don't have the proper piping tips. Well, I do, but I don't like to fuss with them. Anyway, that's pretty, and what I can do now that I've got them, I've got it, what's the word, piped, I can just use some of this really fine dusting sugar, and I'll just sprinkle it right here on the parchment paper. And then, let's see if I can spread it out. So that I can just give it one little dip. Oh, it covered up my heart. I didn't really want it to do that. I'll just scoop some of that out of the way. It's still pretty. And it flattened out my little beads. So it's not necessary for me to do the beads if I'm going to put the dusting sugar on top. We learn as we go. It's still pretty. So I have a little cooling rack here that I'll set them on as I finish. So this one, I think we'll just put the dusting sugar on the edge. So I should probably take my time and do this a little neater, which I'll probably be able to do off camera better than on camera. But I do want just a little sparkly edge on this. It's pretty. Just a little bit of shimmer. And then when these dry, I also have this little shimmer dust that you just take a clean dry brush and sprinkle on. Or not sprinkle, brush on with a paintbrush. So those are the little fondant heart ones. Let's see if I can do this a little neater. So I just put my icing in these piping bags, which really could have like a little coupler and a tip. And let's see if I can. That's all I have to do for that. And then just dip it in the sugar. Let's see. And then we have it on the trim again. So I've got 3 of those. So what I'm going to do is do a little more decorating with the fondant ones, and then when I change the style of decorating, I'll come back and show you. So these are I'm going to attempt to put little rose flowers on the surface of these, and I just have some slightly runny royal icing. There's terms for all of the baking icing processes. I think they call this one flooding, but I'm not going to be exactly flooding them. So I've got 3 of them already iced, and before it dries, you just make these little circle and swirly patterns, and they're supposed to look like roses. So let that one sit for a minute. People that are really professional make it such a fascinating thing to watch. If you've never seen people decorate with royal icing, it's really pretty. So I've got some here that I colored in a nice bright pink, and I'm just gonna drop it on in little dots. And hopefully you'll be amazed at how they start to look like little roses. I could see it on the videos when other people did it, and I did do these on the gluten-free cookies or vegan cookies that I sent my friend, and I think they looked like roses okay. They're a little bit, the dots on these are a little bit bigger than I wanted, but I'm going to keep going here. So you use 2 different shades of pink or 2 different colors so that it gets that contrast, but hopefully you'll see here in a minute. And you could just do it like this and put really fun polka dots and leave it with just the dots, which I did do on some of them, but I'm gonna hopefully, I don't know if I can do it thin enough with this, but let's try it with just the tip of red. I think it's working okay. So you just kind of do these little swirl patterns with a very thin line, and you break the line up so that it's not just like a spiral. I'd say it's working okay. Because you know how the pattern on a rose, it just looks like it can peel off in little swirls. And I chose red because I thought red would be close enough to the pink but enough contrast for it to look like a rose. So I'm literally just doing this from watching a couple people do it on YouTube. And I thought it was so pretty that I'd give it a try. And then we just need to add the leaves. And the way they did the leaves was, again, oops, I just spilled all my colors. They did a contrast of a light green and a darker green. So I'm going to add a little bit more green food coloring to this little bit here so that it'll be darker. Just a little bit darker. And I have a new bottle of water here. I'm going to open and pour just a couple drops of water to thin it down. Okay, let's try this. All right. Okay, so then with my little roses, I'm going to put a dot of green, dot of green. See, maybe I can put 2 dots of green on some of them. Sometimes you just have to go for it. I see these and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I could ever do that. You have to just kind of dive in. And then what you're supposed to do, except I'm going to clean this end off, is take the contrasting color, see that, and then just dot it on top. And again, this is just me doing what I saw and being kind of brave doing it on camera. And then you stretch it down, oops, so that it looks like a leaf. I'm gonna say so far so good. I probably could have thinned this out a little bit more so that it would blend in a little better. Let's do one more there. Oh, I'm gonna say that looks like a leaf. I think the tip of this little skewer really helps. It's a really narrow tip. That's good. Okay. All right. Well, kudos to the professionals that make this look so easy. It's not as easy as it looks, but I'm gonna say mine look pretty cute. Like, they definitely look like little rosebuds. Let me hold them up so you can see. Can you see? Sorry, there's a lot of shadow there. But the royal icing will dry and they'll have a nice smooth top on them. And then I'll do the same thing here. I have some really pretty, where is it? I had some really pretty pink sugar. I may have shown you this. I took some time and colored my own sugar because I didn't have the right color pink. So I just pulverized some white granulated sugar, put a little tad bit of gel color in there. On the camera it's probably not showing up very pink. And then you mix it around just by kneading it in the bag, and it turns pink. It stays nice and dry. I'm just piping around the edge here to get a little bit of the wetter icing, and I'm going to show you how I plan on finishing these off. So I've got a little bit of the wet icing on the edge. It's just a nice subtle little pink color. There's gorgeous Valentine sugar cookie cutouts on Pinterest, and I can just look at those forever. Too pretty to eat, as they say. But anyway, this one, not quite too pretty to eat, but I'd say it's quite pretty. And I'm going to leave that one there. So these are my little rosebud ones. I suppose I could try and do one more. Maybe we'll do, let me try doing a red one. Let me try doing a red one with swirling a little bit of white in it and see how that goes. I don't know. This red is a little bit thick. Oh, you know what? It swirls nicely with just the white that's already on here. Yeah, that's working. Who knew? Okay. I think we'll just do the 3, and then I'll do the leaves. I'm going to just do it slightly in a pointy triangle. It's working okay. Anyway, I just think little roses are sweet. A little sweet touch for a Valentine cookie. That one blended in a little bit too much. That was quick, look. That worked out well. I like it. And then I've got the next ones, which I made sugar lace. And I'm not sure how these are going to peel out, because I made these a little bit ago. I'll stack these over here. And I used a recipe. Oh, it's coming out great. And there are recipes online for making your own sugar lace. And then they sell these little mats at Hobby Lobby, but they also sell them online. And it's basically gum paste with icing sugar and glycerin. Oops, I lost a piece of that one, but that's okay. I'm going to be putting these on in pieces anyway. What else? A little flavoring. And I can't remember what else is in it, but like I said, if you just put sugar lace, you'll get several different recipes. And this one I've had these covered with parchment paper, and I probably should have peeled them out a bit ago, but I ran out of time, so they've been sitting. But I can't complain, that peeled out pretty well. And because I love paper crafts and working with fabrics and doilies and lace, I just really love the idea of edible lace. And again, this is something that bakers do beautifully well. But I just wanted to try my hand at it, and I'm happy that it's peeling out really well. So I also thought it's going to be a great way to embellish my cookies quickly and not put too much sugar. I think when we were kids and we did sugar cookie cutouts. It was all about the powdered sugar icing, and that's pretty much all we used for decorations. And then of course sprinkles, but the sprinkles were pretty much all sugar, and made everything so sweet, which is how you like it when you're a kid. But I wanted to make it with a slightly less sweet taste as an option, but still yummy. So there's that one, and if it were a professional, they would be very upset about how it tore. But I'm just going to put mine on in pieces anyway. And I just love how it turns out looking just like lace. So I made some chocolate cutouts because I thought the lace would show up nicely on these. And I'm still kind of not exactly sure how I want to ice them. I'm thinking I just want the lace to show up pretty. Oh, I think what I'll do is I'll put a strip of lace, oops, I didn't mean for that to happen, on top, and then just some sugar on the edges. Do I have other decorations? I feel like I've got way more decorations than I have out here right now. See if I can cut this off. I've got to go get a knife because I want to trim the edge off here. I decided a clean pair of scissors would work better, so I just alcoholed these so that I can snip them. And you see how pretty just and simple that is? Let's try putting some of the sugar on the edge. Sparkle always is appropriate for Valentine's. So just put a little bit on the edge and then roll it. Roll it in our sparkly sugar. A little bit more. How's that? I think it's pretty. I've got these little rose molds. I might try to push some of the fondant in there because I don't know how to pipe a rose. I did take a decorating class once and they did teach us how, but we did them with royal icing where you make them ahead of time and let them dry, so I don't have any prepared for that. But anyway, that's kind of pretty. Chocolate one with lace. So I pulled out my little rose fondant mold and I pushed in a little bit of the fondant, and I'm going to add them as embellishments to my cookies. I think the white on white doesn't translate very well, but once I brush them with the shimmer mist or shimmer dust, I think they'll look prettier. But there's a couple decorated with the lace. You know, I've never tried this fondant mold, and I'm worried that maybe it's too thin and won't peel out, but let's try it anyway. One of the ladies I watched said that you think it's in too thin, but it's not, it still will work. And look, so far it's coming out. That's amazing. I just love this stuff. Isn't it pretty? Can you see that? I'm gonna make it as flexed as I can so that I don't tear it. This one's really, really delicate. But I'm loving how it's coming out of the mold. Yeah, this is definitely a process that is worth the time. Excuse me. I'm going to do these again maybe for Mother's Day. When I first started my channel and called it Casey Creates, it's because I like to create all kinds of things. Look at how beautiful that is. And this one is actually my favorite so far. And these have gotten hardly any use at all. Some of them, it's my first time using them, and so I washed them, but then they have to take forever to dry because these are made with sugar, so if you put it in while it's wet, then they get too wet. So anyway, this one just stuck on itself. But I'm going to stick this down like so. I'm going to use my clean scissors and trim this off a little bit. And this way, the lovely contrast is there in the white with the dark, and it's not so sweet. You can still enjoy the cookie and the taste of the cookie. So I've got 3 of those and a little bit more lace to do another one. And maybe I will, this is probably a good time for somebody who's really good at piping to just do the little piped beadwork around the edge. I guess I'm not doing too bad of a job. They do sell the little beaded trim to put fondant in, and I have one, but I've used it for my clay, which is most of my fondant stuff. The lace doesn't really work with clay, but the ones that have beads and leaves and flowers I've used for my clay, so of course I won't use it for my cookies. Though you could probably wash it out and use it, it's just best to keep things for food separate, I think. Okay, well, I managed to bead all the way around that one, and it's not too horrible. Anyway, so I've just had a lot of fun decorating my cookies, but I've made this video quite long, so I'm going to end it here. Maybe I'll show you. Put them in the lid here so that you can see all of the ones I've done so far. So I've got 3 chocolate ones. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And I've got 3 with the fondant hearts. And 3 with the rosebuds. And I'm happy with all of them. And I'll be giving them as a treat to a friend. I think she's gonna like them. And then just so you know, the ones that I embossed, all I do with those is give them a really thin coat, almost like a glaze, of the vanilla royal icing, and it's like an off-white creamy color. And then when this dries, I just dust it with the shimmer dust, which I'll show you that again so that you can see what it looks like. And then these again are brand new clean brushes, and I just use them for the icing, and I tend to throw them away because they're not expensive, but I do like this brand. They're by Crayola, because the bristles, of course, you don't want bristles falling out. And I also use them because the color of the bristle is red, so if for any reason it did fall out, you'd see it. Used to be nothing would be worse than to have a bristle in your icing. Yeah, and then when this dries, you just take a dry brush and brush the shimmer powder on it, and it's pearlized and it's really pretty. And then let me do one of these really quick because I want to show you these really fun sprinkles that I found. And for this one, let me just put some of this on the edge. And this is another one where I'm just going to put the icing on the edge. Valentine's Day is almost here. Today is Saturday and Valentine's Day is Tuesday. It's just a sweet holiday. I really like Valentine's Day. Alright. And then lastly, I'll just pour them here on my parchment paper. And then I'm going to press it in, just all around the edges. And I'll hold it up so you can see it. This is like a fun confetti type sprinkle. There we go. And we hold it up so you can see. Isn't that pretty? It's got all different shades of pink. And then if you wanted, you could put one of your little fondant hearts right in the middle. I'm just going to leave mine like this. But I'm glad you hung out with me to decorate some Valentine cookies. And I hope you like them. And maybe you'll give them a try. Otherwise, you just make a really simple butter sugar cookie recipe. And I hope this shows that decorating doesn't have to be too labor intensive. You could just do the icing on the edge and put the edges in any kind of sprinkle or sugar that you want, and that'll be all done. And then the embossed one was made with the little wooden cookie press mold, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I hope you do something sweet just for yourself on Valentine's Day. If you don't have someone special to share it with, you're still special enough to celebrate. So have a happy day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.